Hello everyone, welcome back to TekkinLife, and today we will be talking about slope. So let's get into it. Now let's talk about what slope is. Slope essentially means rate of change, and to be specific, it's the change in the y over the change in x. And this triangle, it means delta, which is a Greek letter, and it represents change in. So change in y over the change in x. This might not make too much sense yet, but once we apply it into an example, it might make more sense. We commonly use slopes in graphs to show how steep the line is. Slopes can also represent a rate of change. Let's see how this works. Here we have a little example. We have a graph right here, and we're going to find the slope of this line right here. This is a common question you'll be asked when talking about slope. You'll have to find the slope of a line. Now over here we have 2 points plotted. We have r, which is -1, -3, and s, which is 1, 3. So we're trying to find the change in the y over the change in the x. So that just means your slope would be equal to your change in your y-axis over the change in the x-axis. Now this change in y over the change in the x can be rewritten as the rise over the run. Essentially, you pick 2 points on your line, which will actually meet at a point, not just in between a square, as you don't get an accurate point for that. You want to get 2 points, and you want to find how much they rise by and how much they run by in between. You want to find what the rise and the run is in between. Here's what I mean by that. So, what is the rise here? Well, the rise is just how many squares up you have to go towards your second dot. So we're starting at -1, -3, and we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going up 6 points in order to get in line with point S. Then we calculate our run. Our run is simply how many points we have to go horizontally to get to our second point. 1, 2. Now we have a rise of 6 and a run of 2. So let's write that down. Rise is 6 over our run of 2. And that, after dividing, 6 over 2 is 3. Therefore, our slope is 3. Now what if you're given a table of values and you need to find the slope through there? Take a second and pause this video to think about how that could possibly be done. Now that you're back and you've thought about how we can possibly accomplish finding the slope through this table of values, we can take it up and see how to actually do that. So, as we said earlier, the slope or the rate of change is just the change in the y over the change in the x. The y is over here, and the x is over here. Okay, let's look at our y first. So we need to find the change in the y. Now what is the change in the y? Well, we just need to see how much it's changing by each time. What pattern do you see between 2 to 5 to 8 to 11 to 14? Well, I see that they're being added by 3 each time, and so on and so forth. We see that it's being added by 3 in each number on the y. So our change in y becomes 3. Now we can look at our x and see how much this is changing by. Well, we can clearly see that the x is only changing by 1 each time. So what does that mean our slope results to? Our change in y is 3, and our change in x is 1. It's the same thing as saying your rise was 3 and your run was 1. So this would result to 3 over 1, as your change in y was 3, your change in x was 1, and that means your slope would be 3. Now we'll talk more about how to graph these lines on a graph yourself, and how these fit into equations eventually. But for now, you've learned how to calculate the slope. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll be uploading more videos on this topic, on how to create equations of lines, how to graph equations as lines, and more about y equals mx plus b. Thanks for watching everyone. I'll be making many related videos on linear relations soon, so please go check that out after you watch these. And once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.